Tiny TUSITALA, TOESE, a name of which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, is sort of well-known Christian patriot in the Pacific Northwest. In particular, he has a bit of a reputation for being awesome. This is who Tiny is. You know, if you don't already know, I'm not going to go a whole lot into it, but it is the point of this is to get into the fact that, you know, Tiny is in the Multnomah County Jail and has been for quite some time. And you might say to yourself, well, oh my, what heinous crime has this young man committed, you know, to incur the wrath and the retribution, you know, of the authorities that be. And I tell you what, last summer in August, not to go too much into it, but there was a little event, and Black Bloc kids showed up, you know, role playing the revolutionaries, and, you know, whatever, there was a little bit of a scuffle, and long story short, Tiny took a baseball bat to the back window of a van that belonged to these Black Bloc kids. That's fundamentally it. He didn't punch anybody in the face. He didn't break anybody's teeth out. He didn't give anybody a black eye. He didn't hit anybody with a baseball bat. He didn't throw a rock. He broke out the back window of somebody's van. And apparently there was a person in the front seat, but this is a van. So there's someone in the front seat, couple of, you know, however far back the back window is in a van, 6-7 feet back, right? He breaks out the back window and he walks away. So, Portland DA decides to bring charges against Tiny TUSITALA, TOESE. And he stands before the judge for his, I guess it's his bail hearing. And the DA didn't want any bail offered, allotted. And from my understanding is that Tiny's lawyer, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it was determined that he ought to have a bail, that there's no cause or reason for him not to have a bail. And the DA ended up requesting the bail be like $850,000, something like that. And Tiny's lawyer said, yeah, that's a violation of Tiny's civil rights, man. You know, for the crime that he's committed, you know, the bail's got to be something that this guy can afford. You can't throw down some crazy number. And the DA responded to the judge and said, but you know what? Tiny's got supporters. They can raise the money in a second. No problem. This isn't a violation of his civil liberties in leveling a bail that is punitive and above and beyond the capacity of the defendant to render the cash, right, to get back out on the street so that he can wait for his court date. You know, that was what was presented, and the judge took it as a matter of fact so they got to raise 10% of that $850,000. So that would be $85,000. And the judge took it as a matter of fact, that Tiny would have no problem raising $85,000. Tiny's got supporters, you know, and the thing is that Tiny has friends, you know. Politicians running for government have supporters. Tiny has friends. And, you know, his friends are working class people. That it's not hard to surmise that we don't have deep pockets, right? We don't have deep pockets. And so a fundraiser was put together. I believe the website is freetiny.net. And if you go there, you will see that they have raised, in the last couple of months, $35,000. And it seems to me that it kind of topped off at about $35,000. It hasn't grown beyond that. And it looks to me like, man, they're not going to raise $85,000. It ain't going to happen. Tiny is going to sit in the county jail for breaking a window until his court date comes around. Right? He's going to sit in jail, and let's say whatever however much time he'll end up serving or sitting in jail waiting for his court date in no way could be an equivalency to the punishment, I guess, for should he sit in court and he should be found guilty of breaking a window, right? Can you hear what I'm saying here? This dude is going to spend months and months in jail for a petty ass, vandalism charge, property damage charge. He's going to spend months and months and months in jail on a property damage charge. And I don't even know what what is the punishment for that? A week in jail? $500 fine? I mean, it is, how is his 6 months of his life recovered to him? I don't know when his court date is, but I mean, the guy could be in there all summer. He's been in there all spring and part of the winter, right? How will the court pay? Will he be compensated for all of his time spent in jail waiting for his court date? And this is beyond abuse, right? It's beyond abuse. We know that in American society today, no matter what state you're in, man, for the most part, you go around breaking windows, not much is going to be done about it, if anything. There are political calls to action, activist protests in which windows are broken, cars are vandalized, and nothing comes of it. The cops don't go looking through the live streams to figure out who is who. They don't put together. They don't do what they did in 2000 Mules and put together the cell phone records and try to figure out who is who. They don't do that, man. They don't look into it. They don't piece it together. They dismiss it. They're like, well, whatever. It's just the ruckus of our culture. It's just the ruckus of our politically divided culture, right? And I tell you what, Tiny breaking out the back window of a van is a bit of a ruckus. It's a little bit of a ruckus, right? And yet here it is, man. The guy's sitting in jail, waiting on a court date, unable to get out on bail. I don't even know where to go from there except just to express what is to be said. I don't even know. Tell me in the comments how I should feel about this. Tell me in the comments how I should respond to this. Tell me into the comments what should be done about this. Should there be a protest? What do we do? I don't even know what we do about it. $85,000 bail for breaking out a back window. I mean, I tell you what, I bet the back window of that van is probably $300. $300 to replace it. Labor too, probably, Maybe it's more. Maybe it's $500. Labor in the glass. Maybe it's kind of one of those weird back windows that is a little more expensive because it's, needless to say, man, think about it. Digest that. The persecution of Tiny TOESE, man. The persecution of Christian conservatives. Tiny is in this order, okay? Tiny is a Christian, awesome, Pacific Islander, American patriot of the Pacific Northwest who is being persecuted by the judicial system, by the Portland, Oregon DA, and by a judge who thought it fair and reasonable that Tiny rot away in jail, in a county jail, over a broken window. Tell me what you think in the comments. God bless.